to the OMG Hour.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 253 of the OMG Hour, recording today on Star Wars' 40th anniversary, May 25th, 2017. And I am your host, Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
And I'm Jeff. Good evening, everybody.
Hello,
good evening, Sean.
Jeff. Good evening. Where's Tycko? What's going on here? Did Tycko die again? I think he's dead.
He died again, yeah.
He died.
Yeah. Doesn't matter, really.
Tycko?
I mean, he didn't really bring much to the show.
Well, you know. Maybe he'll come back as a zombie. Who knows? Since you love zombies so much.
That would be the worst. I do not accept this zombie allowed policy. We need to have a no zombie policy.
Well, we'll see. If Tycko comes back, maybe if he's really dead, he'll be a zombie. He'll come back and he'll breathe death into this show.
Maybe.
So, Jeff, I'm looking at your list of this huge list of games you played this week.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much non-existent.
No, there's nothing. The list is empty. So, I mean, I've played things. There's just nothing really notable to talk about. I've played the Overwatch anniversary event.
I did too, and I got to tell you, my anniversary loot boxes have been crap.
Mine have been not what I wanted. Obviously, the Diva and Symmetra skins, I think for me, are my most highly sought after. Have not got any of them.
Yeah.
I got a Legendary Soldier 76 skin. It was, it was okay. I don't play Soldier 76, so I don't care. So I played a little bit of that, but not much. Marvel Heroes is now in open beta, so everybody can play. The character wipe happened, so now it's safe for me to go back in and start playing again. So I've been playing that.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that game. I really like that game. So, and then, that's really about it. My big project this week actually is putting together a gaming PC for my son Oliver, and Penelope too, I guess, but it's mostly for Oliver. So Oliver's been really getting into like StarCraft and Heroes of the Storm and Minecraft and all these like PC games. And he's got this ancient, terrible laptop that he plays on, where half the keys on the keyboard are like torn out by Penelope when she was a baby. Like that's how old this thing is, right? It's just awful.
I think I saw that keyboard when I was at your place.
Yeah. It's terrible, right? So I was sort of just poking around, and I came across one of my old gaming PCs, and I shouldn't say it's gaming PC. It was like stripped down. I had like ripped the video card out of it, took all the hard drives out and stuff like that. And then I sort of looked at it and I was like, geez, you know what? I wonder what that is. And then so, I had a look, and it turns out it's an old Intel Core 2 Duo.
Oh my.
So dual core processor, yeah, running at blistering 2.5 gigahertz. And then just on a whim, I was like, okay, well, it's old, but what are the system requirements for the game that he wants to play? And sure enough, it was the minimum requirements were a Core 2 Duo. And I'm like, huh. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I've got my old video card kicking around, which compared to like the computer that I'm about to put it in, it's like a million times more powerful than the computer. So I'm like,
can the computer even handle it?
It can, actually.
Wow.
It actually clicks in on high settings on Heroes of the Storm, which is the only game I've tested so far. I'm getting like 45 frames a second on high settings. So I was like, not bad. That's totally playable.
That's amazing.
So yeah, anyway. So I found all the rest of the parts basically, and I put the PC together. I got Windows 10 on there, and I've just got it set up. I actually even because I've been renovating his room. Oh yeah, that was my weekend. I've been renovating his room, so I went to IKEA. We have a rule in the Jenkins Carvel household about not buying IKEA furniture.
Oh.
Unless it's for the kids. We don't buy, like, our living room is not IKEA.
Okay.
Actually, it does have a little bit of IKEA, but we, like, our bedroom set is not IKEA. Our kitchen table, so, like, we go to real furniture stores. But for kids, screw them. They get IKEA.
Our coffee table, actually, you can't see it behind me. Sometimes you can.
Yeah.
That's IKEA. But in this room, I think that's literally the only IKEA piece of furniture.
Yeah. It gets to a point when you become older that you're like, okay, I can't do just plain square tables anymore. We got to try and class this place up, right?
Right.
Yeah. So Anyway,
Well,
so
we got the IKEA one because it was. Let me just for those on video, I'm going to just turn my camera here. But we got that table because there's baskets in it, right? And all
Ooh,
my gaming
basket.
stuff goes in. You can't really see it because
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
mic. There you go. It's got baskets, right? So all my gaming gear go in the baskets, and that's what's been great about that particular table.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's a really, really handy, actually, hidden storage for gaming stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so anyway, my Saturday was spent, putting together all that furniture, and then I was like, okay, so a couple weekends ago, I painted his room, and I painted his room orange, and he's about to get this brand new gaming PC. So I went on Amazon and I found a gaming keyboard that's backlit orange,
Ooh,
and it was a
nice.
keyboard and mouse. It wasn't very expensive, it was some like rip-off made in China thing, whatever. It arrived today. I show him, and he's like, "Oh!" And then the mouse is broken.
Oh
Like
no, seriously?
words.
Oh,
So I got to send it back. So that sucks,
wah,
but it's pretty cool
wah.
looking.
That's cool.
I know. So that's really been my week. Nothing really, no big announcements. I'm still working. I got a couple of reviews that I'm slowly working on.
Yep, yep, for sure.
Um, and I will get those out. You know what? I'm just going to buckle down. I'll have at least one of them ready for y'all next week.
All right, fair enough. Well, last night actually, I went. We've been talking a lot about VR lately. Of course, last week was
Mhm.
Farpoint.
Yeah.
I've been getting back into some VR games. I want to talk about one of those VR games in just a minute. But last
Okay.
night, I went to a local VR arcade that is becoming quite a chain. They're doing so well for themselves. It's called Control-V. You walk in and they've got basically 16 rooms set up with HTC Vive, right?
Okay.
And
Cool.
and they've got it perfectly calibrated, so perfect that so the way HTC Vive works, for those of you who don't know, is there are cameras around the room, and you actually walk around the room with one of the controllers to basically tell the system how big the room is, and it knows where the walls are. So if you're
Hmm.
approaching a wall, it puts up a blue grid so you know you're up against the wall. And just for fun, of course, being the VR geek that I am, I walked up to the wall in VR and put my hand against the grid, and sure enough, I literally touched the real wall.
Oh,
So
creepy.
it was actually kind of bizarre because I was feeling the VR wall, essentially. You know what I mean? Because I was touching the
Hmm.
real
Hmm.
wall where the game told me the wall actually was. I was like, that's really cool, you know?
That is pretty neat. Yeah.
Now, it was a really fun experience. Steam VR has a whole interface for VR. I'm not sure if that they actually designed this for themselves or not, or if this is actually Steam's thing. But they've got all the floating boxes with all the games you want. You grab the box you want to of the game you want. You can put it over your face and get a preview of the game. And if you
Oh,
don't
neat.
want it, you can put it back. But if you do want it, you grab it and you put it in this tube, and it like this like suction tube, and
Okay.
it puts the game in, and then it loads the game for you. So it's kind of a neat little virtual
Oh, that's pretty
reality
cool.
interface,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're standing just in this you're standing in a circle, and everything's around you. It's kind of cool. Now, really, what I want to say here is I now had the experience to try HTC Vive on several games. I spent probably a good hour and a half to 2 hours in VR last night, just trying a bunch of different games.
Hmm.
But I came out of it thinking, you know what? HTC Vive is the most expensive and the best VR on the market.
Yeah.
Okay. Followed by Oculus, followed by PlayStation VR. Now we know, we've said many times, PlayStation VR doesn't have as high resolution as the other two, and it's the
Yeah.
cheapest one, and it's, because it's light based, it's not nearly as good. But from what I experienced last night, the PlayStation VR is the best experience on the market because
Oh, really?
the
How so? How so?
well, in the way that the games that I played last night are way less refined than the stuff we get on PSVR. Okay, so the PlayStation VR experiences are way more refined experiences. Like more time and effort has been put into them.
Okay.
Whereas
Yeah.
on
Yeah. Yeah.
HTC Vive, you're getting a lot of indie stuff, a lot of stuff that's kind of just being pumped out. So you're getting all that, I don't know, like I guess the stuff that's just not that good. And then the actual controllers, I was playing one game called Arizona Sunshine, which is It's a zombie shooter, but you have to move, and the way the controls are set up, I had to think about what I was doing every time I went to do something. And, I've said that many, many times, that if I have to think about the controls in VR, then it takes me out of the experience and it's not fun.
Yeah.
Right? It has to feel natural. I don't want to think about what I'm doing to experience the game. I just want to do it and what feels natural,
Sure.
I played a putt-putt game, like a mini golf game that was kind of fun. But you know what? I just came out of there thinking I have way more fun and have way better experiences on PlayStation VR. And that really surprised me.
Yeah. I think that, maybe on PlayStation with things like, the VR World, and the Playroom and Farpoint, and Sony's been putting a lot more money into,
yes, for sure,
getting good content out there. And I guess that's true. As you think about like both the Vive and the Oculus, I can't really think of any exclusive content that they themselves have developed. I know that they bought exclusivity for Valkyrie for a little while, but they're not really working to get the software out themselves. And that's always one of those things, right, that we always say whenever one of the big console manufacturers are about to release a new platform is, hardware is great, but you got to bring the games to back it up. Right. So
the other thing I noticed with Vive is that most of the games that I experienced are stand-up room scale experiences, right? Whereas there's no like space sims where you just sit and are a pilot, which I think I said last week that to me that's the best VR experience I've had, is being a pilot in something and shooting through the stars and feeling like I'm actually in that ship. Right?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
that's a sit-down experience, and I'm perfectly fine with the sit-down VR experience. Whereas the HTC Vive, everything is stand-up. Everything's just moving around and standing.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are some games that would be better with Vive, like we said, that flower game that we played.
Where you're growing the plants with all the weather.
Yeah, like being able to move around and actually reach stuff would be way better than it is on PlayStation. But for the most part, I honestly think we have the better experience. I really do.
Yeah.
So, I actually I feel good about that. I mean,
I might actually get to experience some Vive action for the first time.
Oh, nice.
My company is actively investing in VR technology now.
Oh, good.
So we have a VR lab getting
Nice.
set up the next couple of weeks. I'm
Excellent.
like, all right.
So you have to go set up the games, right? While we're on the topic of VR,
the people they have, they're actual game developers. So
okay, oh good.
I'm sure they can manage.
But you have to go play them then. You have to.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna devote myself to QA.
That's right.
I'm
Excellent. But while we're on the topic of VR, I actually downloaded a VR demo. This is a demo called Static. Yeah.
I also downloaded this. I haven't played it yet though, because you were on chat the other day. You were like,
yes,
man, I think I'm gonna buy Static. So I was like, must be good then.
So I downloaded the demo. The demo consists of one puzzle. So the Static is a puzzle game, and think of it this way. So you're sitting in a chair. So it's a stationary game.
Okay.
You sit in the chair and you have the PS4 DualShock controller. Okay, so it's not one controllers. But that's the point of the game, is your hands in this game are stuck inside this box. And you don't know what each button does. You have to figure out, if I press this button, what happens. So you look at the box, you're looking at it all different directions, and where you move the controller, the box moves. But your hands are stuck inside this box, and the object is to try to solve the puzzle of this box. And every button does something. And the idea is you need to figure out what button does what, and what do I need to do to solve this puzzle. And it was really, really brilliant. So I believe I have the gameplay video is the entire experience. So it was 18 minutes I spent on the first puzzle. you know? And it was a really great experience. Like, at first you're like, I have no clue what I'm doing. Okay, no, seriously, I have no clue. And then you're like, oh, wait a second, what was that? Oh, okay, now if I do this, this happens. And I need to do this, and then, oh, okay. And it's just like revelation after revelation after revelation, right? You realize what it is you're trying to do and what every button does. And then once you finish that puzzle, you can move on to the next. And from the looks of it, even though it's a demo, you can see all the different puzzles all around you. It looked like there were, I don't know, 10 or more of these puzzles. And I'm like, this was actually a really great experience. I really enjoyed working through this game static. And I am seriously considering purchasing it. It's so good. It's kind of a brilliant concept because the idea really is when you're in VR, you have the headset on. You can't see the controller, right?
Yeah.
You physically cannot see the controller in your hand. And they take that concept into the game. So you can feel the controller in your hand, but like the game, you feel like your hands are stuck inside something you can't see. And that's where they take this. Now you've got to press buttons and figure out what the puzzle is and solve it. Very, very, very cool, though. So
it looks cool. I'm gonna try it out.
If you're thinking of trying it out, I'm not gonna let you see any more because I don't want to give you the answers to the puzzle.
All right.
Really good. Anyway, I got back into Horizon Zero Dawn after being away from it for a while, and my gosh, this is such a good game, Jeff. Seriously, it's still so. I've been playing it since February, and I'm still so in love with it. You know, I realized the other day that it took me like over 40 hours to actually reveal the entire map. 40 hours it took.
That's crazy.
To reveal the entire map. It's so big. You know?
I'm getting to the point now where I'm starting to shop around, looking to see if it's going on sale anywhere.
Yeah.
And it really isn't. Like, it must be selling really well because the price hasn't dropped at all. Unlike games like Mass Effect, right? Which was like less than a month, and then boom, price drop.
No, you know what? The experience is amazing. I never feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean? Like, everything feels so refined. Like, there are some activities called cauldrons. I think there's 5 in the entire game that enhance your abilities if you can defeat the cauldron. And I thought, after the first one, okay, they're all going to be the same. I found a second one. It was completely different experience than the first cauldron. Right? So I was totally wrong there. And I haven't been to, there's 3 more I have to do, but from the first to the second cauldron felt like a completely different experience. And that really surprised me because it typically in a game, when there's a particular activity, they're all the same, right? If it's a cauldron, you expect that one cauldron is going to be the same as the other. No, completely different. It was amazing. I was really, really pleasantly surprised that it was not the same experience over and over again. And that's, I think, really one of the brilliance of Horizon.
So really what you're saying is that the game is pretty just okay. I get it.
Just okay.
What else? What else do you got?
Well, here's another game that literally is just okay. This is a game called The Surge, and this came out last week. It's called The Surge.
For what? PlayStation's?
PlayStation 4. I'm playing this on PlayStation. I got a review copy to check out. I am not at all impressed with this game. So The Surge is it's a third-person action game, kind of along the lines of, say, like Dark Souls. It's like a Dark Souls. Okay. Imagine a science fiction Dark Souls, because it's really difficult. Right, like just like that, it's super difficult. You know, the very, very first area I enter, I died like 5 times. I haven't even. I'm going to be completely clear with this. I haven't even completed the first area because it is so difficult. You know, I spent well over an hour running around killing things, and things respawn all the time. So it's not like you can just clear the area, because if you leave, it gets a certain ways away, they come back. So even if you want to go back to where you were before, you got to fight through all these machines again.
Wow.
And the combat, I find, the controls, for one thing, are very floaty. like really floaty to the point where I don't feel like I have good control over the character, you know?
Is that in line with the genre expectations?
I
Floating
didn't,
I've never played any of these games, so I have
right.
no idea.
I didn't find that with the latest PlayStation 4. What was the one I played? It was last year.
Bloodborne?
Bloodborne, thank you. I didn't find that with Bloodborne. I found the controls in Bloodborne really refined. Like, you
Okay.
know, I knew what I was doing. It was just super difficult, you know?
Okay.
And there's a good comparison. With Bloodborne made me want to keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
The Surge made me want to quit. It really did. Because, you know, I don't know. I'm not impressed with the Surge at all, you know?
Who published it?
This is Focus Interactive.
Ah, good old Focus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't recommend the Surge. I mean, if you like the hardcore games, maybe give it a try. I was not impressed whatsoever with the Surge. I did not enjoy my time with it. Even before I kept dying all the time, I found the controls a bit awkward. You have to hold down the left trigger to lock on. You fight with the right bumper and the right trigger instead of face buttons. And then you have to okay, remember, keep this in mind. You have to target body parts with the right stick, but then dodge with the face button. So if you want to dodge real fast, you got to get off the stick and hit the O button on PlayStation or the B button on Xbox, right? So you're constantly switching between the stick and the face buttons in the middle of battle, and it's awkward. And then you're fighting with the right one and right two, which are your instead of, I mean, it's sort of a two hits, right? It's high or low hit instead of being the face buttons, which to me would feel more natural. And then at the same time, I'm pressing the circle to dodge. So I don't know, man. It's just, I don't think the controls are well thought out. The controls are floaty. The camera's like all over the place when you're trying to run around. Yeah, so anyway, that is The Surge by Focus Interactive. I'm not impressed. Usually, I'm pretty positive with most games. I think people know, but man, I just don't want to play this game.
Right.
I spent a couple hours with it, and I have no desire to go back.
Right. So, in closing, then, it's just a little bit better than Horizon Zero Dawn. Fair enough. You got the big list today. What else you got?
One more thing. This is a game called RiME, which also just came out. Or it's coming out very, very soon. RiME is amazing. It is a puzzle adventure game. Okay?
Puzzle adventure.
It's a puzzle adventure.
In the vein of what? Is there I would consider Legend of Zelda to be a puzzle adventure game.
So Legend of Zelda has fighting. There's no fighting in this game. There's no combat.
Okay.
This is just it's a boy and this fox animal that he finds that seems to be leading him somewhere. Okay.
This is that Sony exclusive, right? The boy and his fox beast. He's like 2 stories tall.
No. That's a different game. That is a way different game. Also another game I didn't like. But
I'm just trying to find the parallels here.
No. I would say more along the lines of, say, Journey.
Oh, I never played Journey.
Right, but almost the same kind of aesthetics as Journey as well. Sort of, very smooth, no real textures, just nice, colorful, and it's all puzzles. It's figuring out what do I need to do to get to open that door, to get to the next level. There's a couple kinds of puzzles. There's these statues that if the kid kind of yells at the statue, the spirit comes out of the statue and goes into a door or a hole that lights it up and enables it. There's picking up orbs and placing them on pedestals, and once you do that, it activates something else. There's other ones where you have to move stuff around and line them all up, and it magically turns into like a key, and then you can now grab the key. It's sort of like a magical world, but it's a beautiful world. The ambiance is incredible. You hear like birds and you hear the animals all around, and the music, the orchestral music, is stunning. Like it's a great game to kind of relax to, and yet at the same time, there's some really good kind of deep thinking puzzles. I'm really, really enjoying RiME. I think it's super well done. It looks beautiful. It sounds amazing. And the puzzles are a lot of fun, you know? It kind of... I don't really know exactly the story yet. You kind of wake up on this island. That's all I know is you're a boy. You wake up on an island. You find this fox that seems to be leading you somewhere. And every now and again, I catch glimpse of this person in like a red cloak that seems to be always up ahead. And when it walks around a corner, you follow it around the corner and it's suddenly gone. So it's kind of got that mystery of like, what's going on? Where am I? Who am I? And where am I going to end up? Brilliant game, seriously. I am thoroughly enjoying this game. I highly recommend it for those who like those sort of...
Do we know who made this game and who's...
I believe it's Tequila Works.
Oh, they sound familiar, actually.
Yeah, well, let me just look them up real Tequila Works. Tequila Worm? No, not Tequila Worm. Tequila Works.
Tequila Worm.
Yeah, right. I've never had it.
Tequila is one of the only... I've never eaten the worm. I will never eat the worm. However, tequila is one of the only like super hard liquors that I could drink straight all night long. No problem.
You know what? I might be wrong about Tequila Works. Oh, no, it is. It's Tequila Works. It's RiME. They also created the Sexy Brutale, which Tycko reviewed a few weeks ago.
Okay. Busy guys.
Yeah, The Invisible Hours, Deadlight DLC. So they've done a few things.
Okay, cool beans.
Yeah, totally. If you like puzzle, kind of relaxing, really good-looking, beautiful orchestral music games, then check out RiME. I think it's really well done. I highly recommend it. Okay, you're going to check it out, right?
I'm going to check it out right now. Is it on Steam?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I don't know what systems it's for. I really should have looked this up before telling you.
What did you play it on?
I played it on PS4.
It is on Steam. Oh no, my microphone's falling over. This is a catastrophe. It is on Steam for $36 Canadian, actually. So that's wow. That must be a pretty hefty game. Usually indie games don't come in at that price point. So cool beans, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, cool. It's coming to console. I believe it was either released this. I think it's actually releasing next week, next Tuesday. So the 29th or something like that.
It's coming out on PC tomorrow.
On PC, but on console, I think it might be next week, the 30th.
All right.
So.
All right.
That is everything I reviewed this week and everything I played. So yeah, I guess we should move in and talk about other stuff, huh?
Let's do it.
Okay. I found an article this week, Jeff, that kind of remember a while back we were talking when VR first came out, and I was thinking, remember what I said was I think I know why all the console manufacturers are pushing 4K so much. They want to get 4K to be more mainstream so that smaller 4K displays could be less expensive to make, because until we get 4K displays into VR, we'll never actually get HD VR. Right? So when you take a 4K display and split it between each eye, you're essentially getting a 1080p display for each eye. Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out that Samsung actually has a 1.9 inch 4K display prototype that they're working on.
Wow.
2 inches, Jeff.
That's
what?
Small pixel.
Yeah. And I'm talking like it's a 1.96 inch 4K LCD whose ridiculously high 2250 pixels per inch density would be ideal for virtual reality. 2250 pixels per inch.
That's nuts.
My mind is being blown away here.
It's crazy because we're getting up there in age, right? I remember the first time I heard the term LCD.
Yeah.
And that time was actually when I got my first ever calculator, and the screen on it was a liquid crystal display, and it was like, a black that was either on or off. And to think that we have come from, a black digital display that was either on and off, right?
Yep.
Where we've come from that to, I don't even know how many pixels are on a 4K freaking display.
I don't know.
But it's got to be like a billion in that tiny little area just over the course of like half of my lifetime. That's crazy.
I know, right? It is crazy. I mean, a 2-inch 4K display, I mean, we're talking beyond what I thought was going to happen with having a 4K display that's split between each eye. No. They're talking about a 4K display for each eye.
Yeah.
Like,
and you think...
But imagine the power needed to run that.
Just what I was going to say. Yeah. The insane amount of graphics horsepower that you'd need in order to do that is just mind-blowing.
But you know what? I honestly, within 10 years... it's got to be where we're going. A 4K or VR? Like, I can't even fathom what that experience would be.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is it, right? I mean, once you get to the point where you can't see pixels anymore, where do we go? Where do we go from here, right? And now we've got the 4K pixels. And I mean, I've seen 8K screens and all that kind of stuff now. I don't even understand. You know what? I got to stop commenting on it because I was the guy that said 4K didn't even really make that much difference.
I know,
and then I went and saw it, and I was like, oh, no, I can.
Oh, there's a huge difference. Wow. Yeah. But I mean, I'm just, my mind's going to the point where I imagine something like Horizon in VR looking as good as it does right now. Like, not only would it feel like you're in VR, it would, or in reality, it would look like you're in reality.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind. And honestly, I can't wait. I really can't wait, I mean, you and I have been excited for VR since we were teenagers. Back when it was the worst thing. If you looked at it today, it was I think it was wireframe, wasn't it?
I think there was some solid polygons. Honestly, it was so long ago, I don't remember. But I really want to go back and see if we could find footage of that. Right. Just so people will know like how bad it was. And I remember like 60 frames a second. No way was that 60 frames a second.
No, I've still got the Nintendo Virtual Boy, which was black and red.
Yeah.
It was like, of all the colors, black and red, and that's it. Monochrome, essentially. Black and red, that was it. And it was like, it was pretty fun 3D. But I should pull it out of the back room and turn it back on and just look at it again now. I'm like, oh, it was terrible, compared to what we're experiencing now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm going to segue into a Nintendo thing really quick before we move on, because there was something that I read in the news today that sort of caught my interest. It's not in the show notes, sorry.
It's fine.
Nintendo shares, speaking of Nintendo shares have surpassed what they were at the height of Pokemon Go, and they are now the highest they've ever been.
Wow.
Due to the strength of freaking Switch sales.
Wow.
Which is crazy to me, because personally, I look at the Switch library and I'm like, there's nothing to play.
I have one game. No, sorry.
Yeah.
2 games. Sorry, I have Snake Pass.
Yeah. Share price doesn't denote, that's just what that is what your share price goes up when your investors think you're going to do well,
yes,
right?
Right.
So they must have some good intel on where Nintendo is going, because, from where I'm sitting, I don't see anything that somebody's going to yell at me on Twitter for this. From where I'm sitting, I don't see how this gets them to the next level unless they cannibalize the 3DS market.
Yeah, well, you've got ARMS coming out soon, which is supposed to be a great game. I'm not interested in it whatsoever. I have no interest in ARMS. And then, of course, there's Mario Kart, which is doing well. Of course,
Yeah, always does.
Zelda did amazing, obviously,
Zelda did
being the
amazing, yeah.
worst game of the year.
Yeah, but Zelda and Zelda and Mario Kart are Wii U games. Let's just keep that
That's
in mind,
They
right?
are also available on Wii U. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then,
just saying.
I'm going to end up purchasing Skyrim for the 5th time when it comes out in the fall.
Oh, I'm not. No way. I am not buying that game again. I own that game on 2 freaking consoles already. And oh, you know what? I actually don't have it on PC, but I've almost bought it
I
like 50
do.
times. And then I go, why? Why would I do this? I've already played the whole game like 3 times
I'm crazy.
on 2 different consoles. Although I haven't done, there's the Dragonborn DLC.
Yeah.
I still haven't done that. I still haven't done it.
You don't have a Skyrim tattoo, though, so, whatever.
Oh, that's right.
I have
You're
it on
kind of bound.
360. I have it on
Yeah.
PS4, Xbox One, just for reasons.
Why did you buy it on
Reason-
PS4 and Xbox One?
Reasons that I'm just not going to get into. I didn't intend to do it that way, and I was going to get rid of my Xbox One version, and it just didn't work out.
So you must be highly anticipating news of Elder Scrolls 6 then.
Oh, you don't even know.
Yeah, I was going to give you another tidbit that I read today. Bethesda's going to release 2 new IPs before they release Elder Scrolls 6.
You know
That
what?
is unsubstantiated and a rumor.
I wouldn't
That's
doubt
what
it. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they do announce 2 more IPs at E3 and don't even mention Elder Scrolls, because they're still doing Elder Scrolls Online. They're just about to release the new Morrowind expansion, right? So
Are you going to go back to that? Are you
No.
going to go play some Elder Scrolls for Morrowind? No.
no.
It's not a very good game.
No, I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy online.
I still want to like that game.
I do, but I found it boring.
It is boring. I think, you know what? Apparently they've changed a lot of things about the game. I have on occasion thought to myself, well, maybe I'll go back and try it. They opened up the world. They got rid of a lot of the MMO-ishness of it.
How? But it is an MMO.
I know it is, but the part that they got rid of was there's no more leveled areas, so you can go anywhere now.
Oh.
Something like that. So
It still doesn't make it not boring.
no, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's missing that something, that intangible.
It is missing something. You're right. It is absolutely missing something. I don't think either of us could put our fingers on why we didn't like it, because we love MMOs.
Yeah. I think the skill system was dumb. The story was so generic.
Yeah. Was there really even a story?
Well, I don't know. I didn't play it long enough to find one. And honestly, one of the great things about Elder Scrolls is wandering the world alone, right? And that feeling of isolation and, just being like wandering and having the dragon up there and being like, oh man, I've got to do this, not we've got to do this, right?
Well,
I would be all up for a multiplayer Elder Scrolls game if it could be just you and me.
you invite your
Go and
friends
do
in.
an adventure. Yeah. But I don't know.
No, I have to admit, the one thing that Elder Scrolls did well was make you feel like you are making a difference in the world. So if I finished a set of quests and you hadn't, if we entered that same area, you would have enemies attacking you, whereas I wouldn't, because I finished it.
Yeah.
To me
that was both a blessing and a curse.
Yes.
Hey, Sean, can you come help me do this quest?
Nope, sorry.
Oh, Sean, I'm being gangbanged by a bunch of demon things.
But I can't see them.
I don't see nothing. This is great for me.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you're right. It was a blessing and a curse. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
All right, we're off the rails.
Hey, that's what we're all about in our post 250. Let's just go off the rails whenever possible.
Off the rails.
Xbox game description. Xbox game subscription is coming soon. So the Game Pass. In Canada, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be $12 a month. In the US, $10 a month to play.
Okay.
At first, 100 games. They're going to have 100 games at launch. We talked about this a while back. We've now seen the list. I honestly think the list is pretty poor for $10 a month. I don't see any reason to subscribe to this service.
Okay, so two things. So, like, just in case people don't remember, this is like the Netflix.
It's the Netflix of
service.
gaming.
So it's not streaming like PlayStation.
No.
You get the game, it's installed on your hard drive, and you can play any of these games as long as they're in the service for as long as you want.
And you're subscribed, obviously.
And you're subscribed. So, yeah, so I'm going to agree with you. I think the Xbox One list is incredibly poor. Incredibly poor. There's really only one game of value in that whole thing. I got to bring up that list of games again. And that was Gears of War Ultimate Edition, because I love Gears of War. I think that's a great game.
Yeah, but was that not free at one point? All the Gears games have been free during games with gold, right?
So everybody should have one. But the thing that I want, the 360 list is genuinely good. I really think the 360 list is just a fantastic. This is different than the list I was looking at. All.
Click on all. And then click show more games, but it's not showing.
Yeah.
Actually, the Xbox.com site does not like Chrome anymore. I'm just going to say, I can't use the Xbox site in Chrome anymore. It's really weird. Anyway, the list isn't working for me right now.
Okay, it's kind of working for me. So anyway, the 360 list I think is good. But I think the thing that I want to say is that if you think about Netflix, where Netflix was when it first started, it was kind of like a bunch of back catalog stuff, right?
Especially in Canada.
And
in Canada. Netflix in Canada sucked when it first started.
Yeah. And that's kind of how this feels to me. Like, if you had never played any of these games before, like you'd never played any of the mostly 360 games, I don't know why you'd play anything on the Xbox One list, then maybe it's not too bad, you know.
But
you guys played the original XCOM. There's a bunch of good games in there. What the hell were they?
But I want to look at it and say this though. Like, honestly, if you look at someone like, say, your kids, okay, your middle, which is how old? What?
My middle?
Yeah, like 12. 13.
No, Oliver's 10. 15.
15. Okay, so take a 15-year-old. Okay, or an early teenager, and are any of these games honestly stuff that they would be happy being limited to? Like, are these games that any typical teenager today are interested in? You know, if a family said, you know what, son, daughter, I'm going to buy you an Xbox right now for the first time, and we're going to subscribe to Game Pass. Mm-hmm. Can you honestly say that a typical teenager today would even care about any of these games? Honestly.
Well, again, on the 360 list, I'm just going to find a few standards here. There's the entire BioShock trilogy. Both of my older two know what BioShock is. They love all the BioShock games. I'm going to say Banjo-Kazooie, Nuts and Bolts, just because that game is awesome.
Because you love it.
Else says. The entire Gears of War series is on there. Halo 5. Oh, that's Halo 5 Guardians. Nice. Oh, wait, is that Halo 5? Yeah, Halo 5.
Halo 5, yeah.
Oh, okay, so they like Halo. Halo Spartan Assault. Cameo. I like Cameo. Nobody else does.
Cameo is a launch title.
Mad Max is here. That game's legitimately good.
Yeah, Mad Max.
Like there's a few on here. Monday Night Combat. That's one of my favorites.
That's
that poster.
A great game, honestly.
If you can sort of just see it right there. It's the only like pretty girl poster I have. I bought it at PAX. Can't stop me. And Terraria is here, and my kids love Terraria. So also Viva Pinata is here, and that's one of the greatest games ever.
Which the first one?
Yeah.
So do you think though, then that this is a service that's worth $12 a month Canadian?
Yeah. No, not really. There's good stuff here, but I don't think gamers are like. I don't think gamers consume games the way that TV watchers consume TV.
No, I agree.
Right?
No, because we play, like, you download a game and you play it for hours and hours and hours. Like, take, I don't know, like Horizon. I've been playing for 64 hours,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't know if I would want to pay a monthly fee to play it for 64 hours, because it would end up costing me more than if I had just bought the game.
Yeah, and this is the same thing. There was game subscriptions for GameFly, and there was one in
Right.
Canada as well. And that was my same argument back then for those. Um, but I think that gamers like to play new games, not necessarily go back to old games. But at the same time, my two older two, they're still playing freaking Fallout 4 all the time. All the time. So
Right.
some people do go back and play, but even then they wouldn't pay a subscription. So I don't know who
No,
this
but
is.
that's my point.
I don't
Like,
know. But
because the issue is this subscription so far is really old stuff. You
mhm,
know, I mean, even Halo 5 Guardians is already a couple of years old,
mhm.
right? And I don't see them adding brand new titles to this. And most people want to play the latest and greatest game.
Yeah.
Are they
I
going
kind
to
of
be happy waiting 2 to 3 years before the latest and greatest make it to that service? I don't
I
think they
kind
will
of
be.
I kind of, if you sort of you gotta there's comparisons we can make here, right? Because there's comparison to PlayStation Now. But there's also a comparison that we can make to EA Access, which is a little closer to this, right? So with EA Access, it's the same thing. You pay a subscription, and then you get to, old games get added to the vault, and then over time, that library is going to grow and grow and grow. And EA, the nice thing about EA is they actually put all their games in there, not just
Yes.
not just a weird selection.
But with
And I
EA
think,
Access, you get to play brand new games sort of as a demo.
yeah, well, that's what I was saying, is that I think that there's kind of something missing from this, which is the other end of that, where, you are giving some sort of added benefit for the new stuff. Because if there's lots of people, like you and Tycko talk about this all the time, where like, oh, I got to play this game for 10 hours, that was totally worth it for me because my subscription covered the cost of me playing the game. I don't need to play any more than 10 hours, right?
Yeah, yeah. Last year, my $35 allowed me to play, I think, 5 or 6 games,
Hmm.
as much as I wanted. Really, I
Hmm.
mean, the 10-hour demo limit was enough for me for those games
Yeah.
that I didn't have to buy the game.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think we'll see how it goes. To sort of counter this, and again, it's something I just remembered that I didn't put in the show notes because I'm a terrible, terrible, terrible human being. I read that Sony is, again, this is a rumor. This is an E3 rumor. Sony is ramping up to dramatically expand the PlayStation Plus offerings
Ooh,
to make it a much better value proposition. So, Microsoft's got to be cognizant of this kind of stuff. Like, you can't just do services like this and then just leave them this way, right? If Sony's going to come back, because for a long time, Sony was a much better offering. PlayStation Plus
oh
was a
yeah,
much
for
better
sure.
offering than
Yeah.
Xbox Live, right?
Yep.
So we'll have to see how this goes. We are not at the end of this story. I think as the months roll on, some things are dramatically going to change.
I kind of wonder too that at the same time, how will the Game Pass affect games with gold?
Hmm.
Because a lot of the games that are in Game Pass, we've already received as part of games with gold, as part of
Hmm.
our gold subscription. So how is that going to affect what offerings we get with games with gold now?
Yeah.
Because you don't need to have a gold subscription now to get Game Pass, right? So it's not, you don't have to double pay to get Game Pass.
I do not know if I would double pay for any of this anyway.
No, I agree. I wouldn't want to see a double payment. Like, I wouldn't want to see you have to have a gold to have Game Pass. Like, remember once upon a time you needed gold to have Netflix on Xbox? Remember that?
Oh, that's still the way it is if you have a 360.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
because
that.
in order to do anything online, you needed to have gold. It was stupid. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, while we're on the topic of games with gold, we know what the games with gold are for June.
Oh, what are they? I have no idea.
And
legitimately.
Okay. So they are. You do actually, because we talked about them.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. So you're going to get a game called SpeedRunners from June 1st to 30th, and this is a 4-player online. Oh gosh, I had it here. SpeedRunners. I'm going to go to the actual site. I'll give you the description. As soon as I read this description, I thought, for me, I'm out. It is a 4-player competitive platformer with grappling hooks, power-ups, in interactive environments. Run, jump, swing around, fire rockets, grapple onto people to knock them off screen. Kind of like Super Smash Brothers by the sounds of it. Which means I am completely out. This is not my kind of game whatsoever, but it's coming for free or with subscription to Xbox Gold. June 16th to July 15th, you're going to get the original Watch Dogs, which we've said many times wasn't that great. It did not live up to the potential.
I think the internet agrees with us on that one. Yeah.
Watch Dogs 2 is so much the superior experience.
Oh man, I forgot about Watch Dogs 2. I still haven't finished that game.
Oh my gosh, so good.
That was a great game.
I finished that game. Loved it.
Yeah.
June 1st to 15th, you're getting Assassin's Creed 3, which...
right. We did talk about this.
Yes,
I remember this.
Which, unfortunately, is one of the least favorite games in the series. Not by myself, but by the majority. Okay, so I'm in the minority when I say I really, really loved Assassin's Creed 3. To this day...
The Native American one.
This is the Native American one. Yeah. And that's probably why it's my favorite. I love Connor. He is, honestly, I'd say Connor is my favorite assassin out of the entire series. But that's also a personal reason. My best friend is a Native American. I grew up, as a teenager in that environment. I love the Native American, environment. So
yeah,
it means something to me. Why are you laughing?
I'm sorry. I was just on Steam and I'm looking at screenshots for Speedrunner.
Oh.
And they use my button pack.
Oh no!
Yeah, I can see this. My right trigger and my X button clear as day.
Nice.
They better put me in their credit. If you're watching this Speedrunners because you found us on videos on SEO optimized YouTube goodness, you better put my name in the credits. Otherwise, you're in violation of my license. I'm going to send my lawyers after you.
Good.
They're all imaginary lawyers, so they don't. You don't have much to fear, guys.
Excellent. And finally, on June 16th to 30th, actually, there's 2 more. You're getting Dragon Age Origins, which
that's a great game.
It is a great game, but it does not stand up the test of time. It doesn't. After playing Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition, I went back to Dragon Age Origins, and I played it for several hours, but it started grating on me with how old that game is.
That was a weird game when it came out. It came out really shortly after the EA acquisition of BioWare, and you could really tell that the console version was rushed. The graphics were bad. The controls were wonky.
Yep. That's why it doesn't stand up the test of time.
Yeah. I would be curious to know if the PC version stood up a lot better, because the PC version had a completely different control scheme. Completely. It was like top-down isometric maybe. Or something.
I played it on PC. I don't remember it being all that much different.
Well, apparently it was quite a bit different.
Unless they changed it. Maybe they changed it over time.
I don't think they changed it. I think you're just not remembering things properly.
It could be.
You're old.
Well,
old B.
I am old.
B.
I
have no idea.
Old.
And
finally, June 1st to 30th, we're going to get DLC for Phantom Dust, which is free right now on Xbox. Did you download No. Did you? No? I don't even know what Phantom Dust is. I added it to my catalog anyway. I think I did anyway. I don't know.
I should add it. Is it in the? I'm going to add it on the Windows Store right now.
But there is multiplayer DLC coming free as part of Games with Gold for that game. But I believe it's free for everybody right now. Phantom Dust. Okay, one more thing real quick.
Okay.
We had a discussion we were going to talk about, but we've ended up discussing a bunch of other stuff. So maybe we'll leave it for next week when Tycko is here. And that's about Scorpio. And you know what? I'm going to ask the question to you, dear listeners, dear viewers. And if you'd like to weigh in, give us a comment, send us an email. Do you think Scorpio, at Microsoft Scorpio, the new Xbox coming out this year, will it be successful enough to kind of bring Xbox back from the slump it's kind of in right now? Like, it's so far behind PS4 right now. They're losing exclusives. We were looking at games list this year. Remember, Jeff? And we're like, what is the Xbox exclusive this year? Other than things like Forza and Crackdown, there is nothing exclusive coming to Xbox. So I wonder, will Scorpio change all that? Could Scorpio bring Xbox back from the slump and get developers to do more exclusives for them? So that's our question. We'll talk about it next week. But for now, today, Microsoft's Beam has been completely renamed to Mixer. They've changed the name to Mixer because they want to make it more social. So like when you're with, when they call it a mixer, when you're with people, I'm going to a mixer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what they've done.
I'm going to be really honest, Sean.
You don't go to mixers?
I have no idea what Beam is. I don't know what Beam is.
Okay.
No, I go to mixers all the time. I don't know what Beam is.
Beam is Microsoft's Twitch competitor. Beam allows viewers. Okay, so first of all, Beam is a
Really? Microsoft has a Twitch competitor?
Yes.
This I gotta see.
It's called Beam. It's been out for over a year now. Where have you been?
No.
So Beam
really
is a latency-free streaming service. So there's like 1 second latency. So people can respond in real time to you if they're watching you. You get their response immediately. On top of that, it allows viewers in some games to actually interact with the game itself. Now what they've done with Mixer, now that they've renamed it, they are now allowing, if you've got a team, say, playing Overwatch, it allows that team to individually stream all 4 of their sessions into one Beam or one Mixer feed. So you can watch all 4 feeds at the same time in multiplayer. Which is, I think, is a very cool thing, right? So instead of just watching one person, you get to watch all 4 perspectives at the same time. So that's what they're adding with Mixer. Yeah. So, but it's Microsoft. Here's the issue: is I really, if they really want to be better than Twitch or YouTube gaming, they need to bring it to PlayStation as well. And I think it's available for PC and for Xbox. But it's not available for PS4. They need to bring it to PS4 if they truly want to beat Twitch and Facebook. Because those 2 platforms are so huge right now. And, I mean, yes, I think what Beam gives us is beneficial. The zero latency is amazing. Because right now on Twitch, what's it, like 20 to 30 seconds before a comment? Yeah, exactly. So by the time someone asks a question, it's up to a minute before they get a response. Well, imagine if it was 2 seconds. That's amazing. So Beam offers a lot. And I think if they brought it to PS4 and allowed us PS4 players to use Beam as well, I think they could potentially take the market. Because they add so much to the experience. They add what Twitch doesn't have. The interactivity and the now with the multiplayer streaming. They're adding functionality that the others just don't have.
Right, but it's not like Amazon and Google are tiny little companies, right? I mean, they could just start copying features and maintain
Oh,
dominance.
for sure, yeah. I would love to
Yeah.
see stuff have zero latency. I think it'd be amazing. You know,
I think there is an experiment. Is there not an experimental low latency mode for Twitch?
there is,
I'm
but
pretty sure there is.
it's still not like 1 second. Like Beam
Hmm.
is literally 1 second. That's what their latency is, which is
Hmm.
incredible.
I think that's just a technological hurdle, though. I mean, it's in my mind. If I think about the hurdles that,
Oh, we've lost
and
internet.
then the hurdle.
Sorry, say that
What?
again. We lost internet for a second. Start again. Start your thought again.
Oh, I said if we think about where Twitch and YouTube gaming have to get to versus where Mixer has to get to, which again I have only just learned about. Uh, I would say that the Microsoft has a much, much, much harder road ahead of them. Like they're going to need more than just PlayStation. They're going to need freaking Miracle. They're going to need to sabotage Twitch's offices in order to take down Twitch, right?
Yeah, you may have a point, but I mean,
So
I think what they're trying to do with Beam is impressive. I will say,
I
however, that the Beam website is terrible. It's
it
awful.
is.
It is.
Microsoft should. It is the worst website ever. Actually, it's just
No, it
it's
is. I
god
was
awful.
looking at it today after the announcement of Mixer. I just went to it. I'm like, this is just terrible. It's the worst streaming website I've ever seen.
If Microsoft has cool tech that can make streaming video better, they should do what they are best at and license it out
Yeah,
to the places where it's actually being used.
yeah, that's a
They
good
don't need to
point.
build their own community. They don't. It's there's already two huge people in there.
Yeah,
You know, I
that's
don't
a
know
good
why they
point.
would want to do their own. It's
No,
the same
seriously,
thing
that's
with their
good.
video service. They have their own YouTube competitor. It's awful. I have to use it all
What?
the freaking time.
What? What's their YouTube competitor?
I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
Oh
It's
man,
gosh, what's it called?
I don't know. I didn't
Anyway,
know
they
it.
have a YouTube competitor.
You didn't know Beam existed. I didn't know that existed. So we're even.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, on that point, let's put this show to bed. This,
I
this has been episode number 253 of the OMG Hour.
I am Jeff. You can tweet at me on Twitter at Cynics. That's SINNIX.
But he
You
won't
can
see
tweet
it.
at the-
He won't read it. He won't respond.
I check it every once in a while. I am so kind of done with social media. I'm thinking about getting rid of Facebook. I think I say that every week. You can follow this show on Twitter. That account is heavily monitored by a team of social media experts.
A team,
That's just
sure.
Sean.
Yeah.
At the OMG Hour. Of course, you can find all the show notes on omgnexus.com.
And of course, I am, as always, Ziantane everywhere, and that is XIANTAYNE. If you like our show, then give us a like, give us a subscribe, and give us a comment, and share us with your friends. That would be awesome. That's it. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Hopefully, Tycko will be back next week. He might be a zombie. We don't know. We'll see. See you guys later.
Good night, everybody.
This has